Hello, I'm Rob Phillips, and welcome to my channel where I help you live a more balanced and present life through yoga and meditation. Today we're going to be doing a 15-minute yoga sequence that's kind of optimized to be practiced in a small space. So I actually live in a 600 square foot apartment with my wife, so I'm very used to having to kind of make accommodations, work with whatever room I have. And so for today, I haven't moved any of my furniture around in my living room. You're seeing it basically as it is. And so I'm going to show that it's definitely possible to practice really in just the footprint of a normal-sized yoga mat. So today's sequence is going to be a 15-minute full-body yoga flow with an emphasis on twisting. Even if you have a bit more room to practice in, of course, you'll be able to enjoy the physical benefits of this. You won't need any special props other than your mat to practice on. Finally, as always, if you enjoy these videos, please consider giving it a like. And if you want to see more yoga classes like this each and every week, please subscribe to my channel. But otherwise, we're going to begin here and seated as we are. So as you do set up into a comfortable seat, if you have access to a blanket or some sort of prop, of course, you could lift the hips up, or if you're comfortable just to sit on the floor, that's totally fine too. But set yourself up in such a way that you feel comfortable. You can rest your hands on your lap or on your thighs, elevating tall through the spine and closing your eyes. And from here, just before we start to move too much, before we start to shift too much, just taking a minute or so to tune in. Taking a minute or so here to notice the body and the breath, just as they are right now. Do relax through any extra tightness you're holding on to. Do release any gripping or tension that you may have. And start to feel your breath get a little bit more strong here. Final few breaths, finding that initial connection, that same connection that will carry with us through the whole sequence today. Let's take a final gentle inhale breath here through our nose. Gently exhale out your mouth and lower your chin down, opening the eyes. So from here, we're going to remain in seated and do maintain that nice upright spine. Do maintain that nice lifted posture. From here, you can take a nice big inhale breath. And as you exhale, take an easy twist over to your right-hand side. So you can gently rest your right hand onto the floor. Left hand is on the thigh, staying nice and tall, nice and vertical. And so kind of keeping with this idea of practicing in tight spaces, in this pose, you're really just rotating in place. You shouldn't be kind of falling too far off center. Nice vertical column through the spine. As you hold here, with each inhale breath, get just a little bit taller. With each exhale breath, maybe you'll rotate just a little bit further in. Subtle micro movements, kind of exploring the various parameters of this pose. Here now, with your next slow inhale breath, wind your way into the middle. And as you exhale, take an easy twist over to your left. And this time, left hand will be on the floor, right hand will be on your thigh, and you're just kind of drawing yourself into a nice, easy rotation. Thinking like a spiral staircase here, you're tall all the way up towards the ceiling, and you're just kind of rotating, you're just kind of moving in place. With each inhale breath, get a little bit taller. With each exhale breath, maybe rotate just the tiniest bit further. From here, with your next slow inhale breath, wind your way back into the middle. Take an exhale breath to land there. From here now, let's shift and make our way onto hands and knees, setting up into a tabletop position. So in your tabletop, you're going to want to plant down through the hands here, spread wide through the fingertips. Now moving fluidly with our spine as you inhale, draw the chest forwards, lift the heart, lift the tailbone. As you exhale, press the floor. Feel yourself round and reverse the other way. Again, inhaling, come forwards, expand, really grow into the pose. And exhaling, press back, let yourself release, and continue now moving through these patterns on your own breath. Finding a tempo that feels natural for your body. Feeling a breath that's definitely stronger than your resting breath, but nothing intense about it. Still kind of a sense of calm, sense of ease within it. Take 2, maybe 3 more rounds like this, back and forth. And then as you finish up your last round, find your way into your tabletop and begin to press the hands down so you can now exhale, tuck your toes under, and lift the hips high into a downward facing dog shape. So in downward facing dog, really engaging the legs, pressing back through the thighs, through the heels. You can walk everything out. Main intention in this moment, though, is to let the arms be nice and strong. Really create that lift, really create that elevation all the way through the pelvis. Now, as we make this next transition, if you have enough space to do so, you might use an inhale breath to reach your right leg high into a three-legged dog. If not, skip that step, and now together we'll exhale. Just step our right foot up in between the hands and lower our left knee down towards our mat. Gently engage the legs and inhale to sweep the fingertips up, coming into a low crescent lunge. Feel as the legs engage and activate. Feel as the spine gets gradually taller here as you take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, take an easy twist to your right. So your right hand will rest on the hip, left hand will rest on the thigh. This should feel an awful lot like the seated twist we did a few minutes ago. Legs remain strong and starting to move here. As you inhale, spine gets gradually taller. As you exhale, maybe you'll rotate just a tiny bit further in. Coming back through center as you inhale, sweep the arms overhead, touch the palms. As you exhale, take the hands down to the mat and press straight back. Downward facing dog. Now, again, depending on how much space you have, you could inhale and float your left leg high. And if you don't have enough space for that, just exhale and step your left foot up. We'll all lower the right knee down to our mat here. With legs gently engaged, inhaling, sweeping the arms high into our low crescent lunge shape. Again, really stabilize the lower body, gently root down through both feet. Take an inhale breath right here. As you exhale, left hand comes onto the hip and right hand comes onto the thigh, taking an easy twist over to the left. Again, a good rule for most twisting poses is to be relatively compact. We're just kind of rotating in place. Lower body remains grounded. Upper body, though, feels lifted, feels spacious with your breath. Keeping both legs engaged here. As you inhale, sweep the arms overhead, touch the palms, and look up. As you exhale, hands come to the floor and press yourself again straight back. Downward facing dog. There, we'll take a nice long inhale. A nice long exhale. With your next inhale breath, shoulders move forwards into high plank pose. Let's hold here for a few breaths. And remember, if this is too much, you could always have your knees on the floor. If you are holding, really work through the legs, press back through the thighs. Feel that tone in the belly so you're nice and strong, nice and stable. Take a big inhale breath where you are. And slowly as you exhale, lower all the way down to the floor. Have your hands back by the low ribs here. And as you point back and extend through the feet here, press down through the shoelace part of each foot. Hover your hands a good centimeter or so off the mat so that now you can inhale and rise up into a cobra pose, but using your internal strength. So again, we're nice and compact here. We should be keeping everything kind of in the footprint of our mat. We feel the elbows as they draw together, creating that heart opening. And for your last breath, you can lower your hands down, take a deep inhale. As you exhale, press through the hands, hips back towards the heels, coming into a child's pose. From your child's pose, now you can press the hands down. And again, as you exhale, tuck the toes under, lift the hips high. Coming into your downward facing dog. Again, here as we transition, if space allows, you'll inhale the right leg high, otherwise skip that. Now we can all exhale and draw the right knee forward, step it up between the hands. This time you'll be in runner's lunge. The back knee is off the floor. Legs are strong, legs are rooted. From here, again, keeping with our theme of twist, you're going to place your left hand down onto the ground, and then inhale, open your right arm up towards the ceiling. If it's comfortable on your neck, you can look up. With the legs as your foundation, feel as the spine extends and you gradually rotate in place. With each inhale breath, feel the body grow. With each exhale breath, maybe you'll rotate a little bit deeper into this. Please take a final deep inhale breath where you are. Exhale and lower the right hand down. Now with your legs strong, connecting into the floor, start to look somewhat forwards and in front of you. And as you inhale, sweep the arms high into a high crescent lunge. this is too much, you could modify and do a low lunge with the knee on the floor. Again, feel the sense of the legs working, but feel light and feel lifted all the way through to the hands, yet soft, calm, and spacious around the neck and the upper back. From here now, as we exit, take a final inhale, touch palms, and look up. As you exhale, hands come to the floor and step back into your high plank. Take a nice deep inhale breath right there. Exhale, lower all the way to the floor or chaturanga. Inhale through a cobra or an upward facing dog. Exhale up and back into a downward facing dog. Take just a breath or two there. Come back to your baseline. Come back to your foundation. Again, if space permits, you can inhale the left leg high, three-legged dog. Otherwise, we'll all exhale, step that left foot up. Second half of our runner's lunge. Again, really do extend long all the way through the spine. Press back through that right heel and send all of that length forwards through to the crown of the head. From here, we plant down through the right palm, and as we inhale, open the left arm up into the ceiling. Breathing into our nice deep twist. Really feel light. Really feel lifted through that top hand. Take a final deep inhale breath right here. As you exhale, lower the left hand down. Again, getting stronger, getting more rooted through both legs. Start to look forwards and in front. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Coming into your high crescent lunge. Here, working just hard enough to feel stable, to feel solid, yet finding a certain sense of ease, a certain sense of calm within the otherwise strong pose. Final moment here, take an inhale, touch palms, and maybe look up. As you exhale, hands to the floor, stepping back, high plank. Take a nice deep inhale breath there, and as you exhale, lower either to the floor or chaturanga. Inhaling through your cobra or upward dog. Exhaling up and back, downward facing dog. And take a nice long inhale breath through your nose. A nice long exhale breath out your mouth. Lowering down to your knees, resting again for a few moments in a child's pose. From here, let's flip ourselves over and make your way onto your back. So as you lie down onto your back, first action might be just to draw the knees into the chest. Rock and roll a little side to side. Let's lower the feet down, setting up for one round, just nice mild bridge pose, just to get a little bit of spinal movement, a little bit of back release going. So you feel the feet gently press down, feel the backs of the arms gently press down. And then from here, you'll begin to inhale and float the hips up and away from the ground. With the legs engaged here, extending through the spine, feeling like you're pulling the pelvis in the general direction of the heels. And if you're super tight, you can keep your arms on the mat. If you have a little more room, you can spread out, of course, working with what we have. Either case, breathing fully as you inhale, feel the ribs and the chest expand. As you exhale, feel things settle and really notice the contact with the ground beneath you. Let's take one more deep inhale breath right here. As you exhale, lower all the way down to the floor. Take a moment, shift the knees side to side. Now, as we set up for a final pair of twisters, I've been talking about here, working with whatever space you have, and if you need to just keep this on the footprint of the mat, we'll still be able to make this work. So to give ourselves a little more leeway, let's shift the hips a bit over to the right edge of the mat. Cross the right knee over the left, take a gentle inhale. Exhale, roll the legs over to the left here. And if you're very tight on space, you can take your right arm up and over your head. If you have a little more room, you can take that arm out alongside you, just depends on where you're working. Either case, you want to get that nice release happening into the right side ribs. Let the legs feel heavy. And take a few more slow breaths here into the right side in general. Final gentle inhale breath right here. And slowly exhale and unravel the twist. Come back into the middle. You can uncross the legs. Shift and move a little bit side to side for a few moments. Setting up for second half again, you can slide a little over to the left edge of your mat and cross the left knee on top here. Take a gentle inhale there, and then exhale to roll the legs over to the right. And again, depending on how much space you have, you might just take your left arm overhead. If you have enough room to open it out to the side, certainly feel free to do that. But really let the body relax here. Really let the energy settle here. And take just a few more slow breaths to let the pose do its work. Slowly draw the knees back into the middle and unravel the cross of the legs. Let this be a last chance to move, last chance to release. Now, just for a moment here, you can extend the legs out onto the floor, resting in Shavasana pose, resting pose. If you happen to have more than 15 minutes, you could linger here, as long as you'd like, of course. Otherwise, we'll take just a few breaths to drop in. Let's take a nice long inhale breath through the nose. Open up your mouth as you exhale, let everything out, and just resting here for a few breaths, letting the body neutralize, letting the body stabilize after all that movement that we just did. From here, coming back and noticing the breath, finding small movements when you're ready for them. Drawing the knees in and slowly rolling your way onto your side before pressing your way back up into a comfortable seat. Here now, just a final moment together to acknowledge our practice, really feel the change we've created, and joining the hands in front of the heart. Thank you, as always, for joining me for this practice, and may our practice bring benefit to all beings. We bow. So thank you so much for joining me for this yoga practice meant for a smaller space than most of us might have. And so as always, if you have any thoughts, questions, or comments, do let me know down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like. And as always, please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more yoga practices like this each and every week.